All right. Y'all ready for the reason for the season? Short answer is heathens. Okay. Now, I want y'all to focus on that barcode right there. Scan that, and it'll take you to a bunch of links of other websites. Scan that barcode. All right. Or you can scan that one. Just get in the habit of doing that. You may have to work with your phone. Because sometimes it takes me a minute to get my lenses right where to pick up. All right, let's get into this lesson, fam. Hope y'all all right. And I walked into Walmart, after the Shabbat, last night. I saw all that Christmas stuff and I was literally about to throw up. I said, let me go on and put this on the front burner. So here I am. Let me go on. Yeah, I had to go on and get it in. But y'all stay tuned. All right, family. Hey, y'all in the chat, I'm gonna need y'all to start if y'all would, posting these links, helping me by posting these links in the chat room. That'll help people. That'll help us to move around. I'm going on it, yeah. That'll help. That'll help us move around. See, let me I'm posting it in the link on Rumble. Hold on. All right. Let me get on it. Oh, I posted on the same site. Y'all bear with me. Can y'all copy and paste and save those links for me? Help a brother out. Help a brother. HBO, help a brother out. All right, we gotta whatever they doing, we gotta do the opposite of what they doing. Just copy these links and just every now and then just post it in the chat. I don't care if you're on Rumble, okay? And it should take you to the same area. Let me see here. It should take you to the same area if you scan this barcode right there. All right? Should take you to the same spot. You might have to work with your phone because I have to zoom in and zoom out, hold it steady, but eventually it'll take me right over. Matter of fact, let me do it. Let me show you where it's going to take you to. I'm finna get into it. Because we into it. All right. It'll take you right here. That's where it's going to lead you to. And there go the first two is Rumble. Okay? Because YouTube do what they do. But yeah. Let's go through all of those. All right? The first two are Rumble. All right? Been taking hit after hit after hit, and guess what? I ain't knocked out. Let me get on into it. All right, family. Let me see here. Let me share my screen. Let me see here. Yeah, let me get into this. Matter of fact, let me slow down. Hand moved a little bit too fast. Let me show y'all. This is going to go into the, you can trace Christmas all the way back to slavery. All the way back. So, when we get out here going into the debt servitude, the slavery of debt, it goes all the way back to Rome. See, I started feeling a whole lot better and saving a whole lot more money. No headaches. When I started letting that stuff go, what you holding on to Rome for? So, you gonna support terrorism. Each dollar we spend, we supporting our own oppression. We are supporting the enemy. We are funding our own genocide. Okay, let me get into it. Let me show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. All right, show you better than I can tell you. Who a slave needs a calendar to tell him when to give gifts? That's what a slave has to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. That's what slaves have to be. Are you ready to be free or you're not? Before you can loose the chains around your hands, you got to loose the chains around the brains. But let's go. Let me see here. All right. Let me calm down. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll try it anyway. Let me show y'all this. I really started waking up. Once I started learning that this was going on, paralleling Christmas, the Krampus devil. But all right, let me play this. Now, that link is in the chat. I hope y'all got the link because I don't know what ScrewTube gonna do. Go right on over the Rumble. Just get ready to rumble. Okay, the links is in the chat. You can scan that barcode, whatever you got to do. But yeah, go to an old video. The link should be there in the description box of the old video. But I don't know what they're going to do, okay? What communion does darkness have with light? Huh? Let me pull that up. What communion does darkness have with light? Let me pull this up. Does light have with darkness? 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Think about slave bondage and chains. I know it's giving the analysis of a cow or ox, but we can take that personally. Bondage of slavery. Some of y'all, and it used to be me, this time of year come on, you start to have all kind of anxiety attack. You start to have the big one. Oh, how I'm gonna do all this? What are they gonna say? you start to have the big one, ain't you? Then let that stuff go. If people love you because of what you give them, that ain't love. That's deception. They don't love you. The love isn't predicated on how much money I got to give to you. That ain't love. But all right, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. See, unbelievers. Let's say sheep and goats. The goats going to hell. The sheep trying to go in a whole different direction. How is that going to work? If you yoke together, that's why the Bible tells us to separate. It said, come out from among them and be separate. The goats is going one direction and the sheep is going another. It ain't going to work. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? If righteousness and unrighteousness could get along, then Satan wouldn't be down here on this prison called earth. If righteousness and unrighteousness could coexist, Satan wouldn't be down here on this prison called earth. And what communion have light with darkness? Okay. Now what do they do? Really year round now. Certain times of the year, on the heathen clock, they start putting out the Christmas stuff, right? So your eye can be filled with evil. I'm gonna get to the evil part. Let me lay the foundation. Sometimes you got to plow the ground. You got to lay the foundation. The foundation got to be right in order for the building to stand and stay. If thine eye be evil, that's why they put all this stuff in front of you. They put all this stuff on the so-called media. All the bling and the shine, all the gifts and the money. Okay? If thy whole body is full of darkness, if your eye is evil, your path is going to be on darkness. Your path is going down because your eye is full of darkness and you're going to head to the darkness. All right? But if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Let's go to 624. Let's go to chapter 624. Okay, right here, 623, 22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, laser focus, tunnel vision. Whatsoever thing is righteous and holy, tunnel vision. If your eye be single, they want to show you something else. So you can become double-minded, and you want to try to do both. I'm gonna worship paganism and the Most High. That's what the Roman Catholic Church. That's how you got the Roman Catholic Church. They mix paganism with Scripture. All right. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye being single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Okay, get your mind right. Now, let me get him back into this video. Let me see here. Let me show y'all this. Okay. Now, Christmas was illegal when the United States first was formed. It was illegal. Why was it illegal? We're going to get into that. Let me see. Let me get some of these old flyers. Some of these old flyers. This is Pinterest. But y'all can look it up. Because they knew it was paganism. They knew it didn't have nothing to do with the Most High. The observation, this is old English, of Christmas having been deemed a sacrilege against the Bible and wickedness, the exchanging of gifts and greetings. We're going to get into that. That goes all the way to Saturnalia. Goes back to Rome. And it goes back to slavery. Some of our people was exchanged like gifts. Carrying up the families. All right. Dressing in fine clothing. Feasting and similar satanical practices are hereby forbidden, with the offender liable for a fine of 5 shillings. That's old English. All right. The F is kind of like S's. But yeah, something like, yeah. But let me go back over here. Now, let's get back into this video. Let me get back in there. I'm going to try to let it. Oh, y'all bear with me. More focus on darkness and no light. Hey, they look like goats to me, and that's bad. Okay. This time of year, the devil gets some shine. Satan gets shine around this time of year. So, what part of this is good? That the devil gets some shine. They go out of their way to have a celebration with the devil front and center. Keep in mind, these are the same group of people that has gone all over the earth, stealing, killing, raping, and everything else. Same group of people. What does Satan? Let me put it. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all, because I know some of y'all don't know the Bible, and hey, that's all right. I'm here. I put Skrill in there. All right. For the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. Okay. This is the Messiah saying, I have come that you might have life. Okay, so why do you feel like you died? Because you ain't got no money to give gifts to everybody. It's a natural thing to want to give to everybody you love. That's. But you simply cannot afford, you can't do that. That's really not practical, even for rich folks. So that's not life. Then you go in debt, trying to give gifts to all these folks, putting strains on your marriage. You're not paying your bills. You're getting kicked out. Your car's getting repossessed. That ain't life. You're killing yourself. All right? All right? So I'm come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundant. So it's supposed to be abundance of life. An abundance of life. Okay. Now, look at the church that we have here. Does it reflect an abundance of life, or do you see an abundance of death? Let me help you. Slavery. Was that life? Huh? Okay. The selling, the dividing of families. This is that life? Lies. Is that life? Okay. Manipulating the people into taking pills and not curing anything. The death care system. Is that life? They want everybody with a medicine cabinet full of pills. Is that life? I'm showing you infinite ways you can die. The air we breathing got stuff in it that's killing us. The water we drinking got stuff in it that's killing us. The food we are eating is killing us. That's abundant death, ain't it? If you want to die, go ahead. But if you're on a suicide mission, why don't you make it count and start destroying darkness? Huh? Don't be on a suicide mission. That's more like a kamikaze mission. If you're going down, take them down with you. How about that? Back off the suicide mission and look closely at the kamikaze. If you know you finna go down, we going down. We dying slowly. How about taking down devils with you? Tearing down the kingdoms of darkness, the lies that they put out here that's killing other folks. How about educating folks? Because we going down. How about that? Kamikaze on the devil. All right. I don't know how many days I got left, but I'm going to dedicate my life to destroying the works of Satan. I'm going to dedicate my life to trying to fertilize somebody else's life. How you fertilize? You show them what's killing them. You show them how they're being harmed. You're fertilizing them with life. Abundant ways that they can live. Okay? But yeah. Let me move on. Let me see here. Now, let me get into this. I'm already getting in my tirade. I'm 25 minutes in. Let me try to. All right. Now, I call it Saturnalia, but Saturn. Notice the so-called planets, with the exception of Earth, is named after Roman gods. Have y'all noticed that? If y'all notice that, give me a 1 in the chat. All the so-called planets, with the exception of Earth, named after Roman gods. If you notice that, let me get a 1 in the chat. All right? If you didn't, that's okay. It's cool. I'm still learning stuff. But all right, let's get into this. All right. Saturnalia, the most popular holiday on the ancient Roman calendar. So we lockstep with the devil. We might as well be in Satan's army because we lockstep with the devil. Well, we going left. We lockstep with the devil. You know how the military soldiers be lockstep together, like they're in a parade, all up moving together. We lockstep with the devil. Lockstep. All right. It's the most popular holiday on the ancient Roman calendar, derived from older farming-related rituals. This could go back into slavery. You see, all the harvests have been gotten in, right? But I'll get into it. But y'all, let's look into that. The harvest, then they start giving Negroes some clothes and a little money that they done already worked for. That ain't a gift. Okay? A down payment maybe, but it ain't a gift. All right, now. Farming. Yeah. That's why we here. Okay, see, y'all is reasons why we do this. Because it ain't popular. I don't do it for views. But I walked into Walmart last night. I literally was about to throw up. I promise you. And my stomach don't do that. I walked in there, saw all that stuff. And my stomach I had to, I couldn't explain it. I said, let me go on and get this lesson out. But anyway, I've been working on it a little over a week. Especially the practice of offering gifts, sacrifices to the gods during the winter sowing season. This is devil worship. Who you sacrificing to? The Bible says you're sacrificing to demons. Hold on, let me see here. Okay, here we go. 1 Corinthians 10:20. These scriptures are coming. I wrote some scriptures down, but matter of fact, I ain't even got my notebook. All right. But I say 1 Corinthians 10:20. Yeah, what but a couple verses? Things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to the Most High. I would not ye should have fellowship with devils. Let me help y'all. Y'all get the picture. Sacrificing the devils. But all right. Now, especially the practice of offering gifts or sacrifices to devils during the winter sowing season. What? It's winter, ain't it? Is it not winter? What time is it? The pagan celebration of Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture and time, began as a single day. But by the late Republic, 133, 31 BC, it had expanded to a week-long festival. You still get off of work now for what? Weeks, about a week. Think about that. You still get off about a week, maybe 2. All right. Festival began in December 17 on the Julian calendar, which the Romans used at the time. The winter solstice fell on December 25th. Is this your God? Is this your Messiah? Okay. But yeah, let me move on to something else. All right, now I showed you that they come from Rome. All right, now how the Romans celebrate? Let me see how they celebrated. I just basically told you the gifts and stuff. They passing out gifts. All right, now look at those. During Saturnalia, I know it's Saturn. I said Satan. Work and businesses came to a halt. What everybody be doing during this time of year? What's going on? Huh? During this time of year, what's going on? Talk to me, family. During this time of year, what's the reason for the season? If you claim you worshiping the Most High, then you are in treason. Come out from among them and be separate. The Most High didn't ordain this. You're not going to find nail, book, Bible, chapter, or verse about this. All right, now. Schools and courts of law closed. Notice the courts that we are under now, that they are mass incarcerating our people. use Roman legal terms, or should I say Latin. Latin is the language of the Romans. You got, them Latin legal terms. Bona fide, that's Latin. Alma mater. Listen, I keep telling y'all, the Bible told y'all that the Romans, well, it didn't say the Romans, it said this last beast was going to swallow up the whole earth, going to take up the whole thing. It's going to be a divided kingdom. These same people, they got their same Roman calendars, they got their same Roman holidays, they got their same Roman government. They call it a democracy. House and Senate. They call it a republic, all that stuff. Okay? And the normal social patterns suspended. You out of school, you understand? I'm just showing y'all where this stuff go back. The reason for the season. People decorated their homes and wreaths with other greenery. Wreath. I hope y'all starting to get some acid reflux. I hope y'all getting acid reflux. Huh? Let me go to Jeremiah 10. Hold on. Jeremiah 10. Hold on. Yeah. My mama found this Bible verse when I was a child. Well, we started, it was down, it was uphill. I ain't gonna say down here, it was uphill. I said, and I saw that in the Bible. I said, man, I knew the Bible was real. I was like, man, let me see here. I said, they doing the same thing. Hear ye the word of Yahuwah. Hear ye the word which Yahuwah speaketh unto, O house of Israel. Okay? Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Arlene. Let me put that up there. All right. Thus says Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen. But see, the devil think they slick, ain't they? They think they slick. They taught us. We go to school to get indoctrinated. That's why we pick this stuff up. See, they taught us. So you was forced to learn the ways of the heathen. Some of you still think you Americans. Some of y'all still think this land is your land. It might be your land, but not until they get out of here. They taught us their customs, and we didn't know no better. Okay? But now, the truth is shedding light. And you need a single eye, a single mission. That you're going to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You're going to put him above everything. You're going to put him above what you've been taught. You're going to put him above your spouse. You're going to put him above yourself. A single eye. Like the Bible said. All right? Okay, now. Learn not the way of the heathen. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. What I just tell you, every last planet, with the exception of Earth, is named after Roman gods. What these so-called planets are supposed to be? They're in heaven, right? Let's see, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune. Come on, family. Pluto. I know I probably left out one. Uranus. It sounds like your anus, but yeah. But anyway, for the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. Let me help y'all. Y'all can't see this, can you? Hold on. Now, okay. Tell me to share the screen if I forget, all right? I'm looking over here. I'm looking at the screen over here. Y'all help me. Yeah. Let me see here. Cutting down trees. I haven't even got to the slavery part yet. I haven't even got to the slavery. That's why I got our people in chains and the devil sitting up there posted up. Look. What? But some people want to try to, y'all, how many of y'all would, right after you take a dump in the toilet, I know, bear with me. Right after you take a dump in the toilet, how many of y'all will get your ice cream scoop and dig off in that toilet and put it on a cone and try to clean up the poop? How many of y'all would do that? How many of y'all would try to clean doo-doo? Huh? Say it's chocolate. That is what this is like when you try to bring it into the church house. You're trying to bring doo-doo into the kingdom of the Most High. You're trying to bring doo-doo into righteousness. It ain't gonna work. Let me read it again. All right. For the custom of the people are vain, for one cut of a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe. They decorated with silver and gold. Silver bells. Silver bells. All right, hold on. They fastened it with nails and with hammers that it moved not. Huh? They are upright as the palm tree. You know, in Egypt, they used to use palm trees. You go back, the Egyptians used to use palm trees. But speak not, they must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them. Y'all afraid, huh? For they cannot do evil, neither. Also, is it in them to do good? All right, now, let me get back over here on this Saturnalia. All right, now. Okay, the Bible is on point. All right, now. They shutting down schools. The courtroom is everything shut down. Okay? People decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery, trees and mistletoes and all this, and shared their traditional togas in favor for colorful clothes such as, I don't know what this is. Even enslaved people did not have to work, and that's probably how they got us. That's probably how they got us. Right now, I'm glad I don't have to go to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I don't have to go to work. But I'm not stupid. Y'all can keep y'all stuff. I'll take this day off. Hey, that's probably how they got it. You know, you out there you spend all doggone spring and summer out there with that back-breaking work. Now it's cold and ain't nothing growing, and you got a break. And these people brought their heathenistic customs over here. They feeling all jittery and party because, you done work. Look, our people work all year so they can be happy with the sacrifice that we made. They eating good. They making money. Yeah, they gonna be happy. The work is done. Yeah, they happy. But don't get it twisted. Soon as the celebration die down, your baby getting sold. Your wife getting raped. Your son getting sold. Don't get it twisted. Soon as the celebration, well now, even during celebration, look for the police shootings. Look for the white supremacist mystery lynchings. Look, just keep an eye open. All right? But were allowed to participate in the festivity, in some cases, sat at the head of the table where their master served them. All right? Right down to the candles. But let me go. Let me move on to something else. All right, let me see what else I got over here. Let me see. Now let's go down here. Y'all can read this yourself. Just type that in. Y'all see it's the History Channel. Just type that in. I'm gonna skip down here. I done already proved to you that it's pagan. All right. Okay. All right. Pagans and Christians coexisted. What did the Bible say? How? Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Goats, sheep. Goats going to hell, sheep headed to heaven. So this right here, by default, is a transgression of the Most High's commandment. Look at it. That's how the paganism crept into the church and took it over. That's how the goats started running the show. It ain't It ain't going to be no coexistence. The goat's going to win. If you don't listen to the Most High, they're going to always win. Why? Because when you don't listen to the Most High, you are in rebellion, because he's giving you instructions on what your orders are to do in this war. You are in rebellion. You done went AWOL. Okay? Coexistence, though not always happening during this period, and this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans. So when the so-called biblical people, let me stand up. When the so-called biblical people have to act like a devil to convert souls. Let me read this again. During this period, and was this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans. The Most High said he draws. The Most High said he feeds, he draws. That's what the Bible says. You ain't got to go out here and dress like a devil and act like a devil to convince a devil that you really a saint. Huh? There's the saying says, if it look like a duck, act like a duck, quack like a duck, swim like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. So people are supposed to be drawn to the light that you possess, not the darkness that you express. They're supposed to be drawn to the difference they see about you. There's an aura about you, around you, that's different and around than everybody else around you. There's something different about this one. What is it? I'm going to sit back and keep watching. But when you decide to try to go undercover and masquerade in darkness like you one of them, they don't see no difference, because there is none. All right? All right, okay, let me keep reading. Likely represented an effort to convince, let me see how long I've been going. Okay, let me try to, I'm going to try to wrap it up. To convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity as Rome's official religion. That's just like, you trying to convince Satan. You trying to convince Satan, but okay. Before the end, if the Most High didn't convince him, and he allowed him to go on and choose evil, then he didn't try to convince him. He told him what it was, and you don't like it, you can go to hell, basically. Before the end of the 4th century, many of the traditions of Saturnalia, including giving gifts, singing, lighting candles, feasting, and merrymaking, had become absorbed by the tradition. Like I said, they're going to take over as we know them today. All right, so it's paganism. Notice how they didn't answer that question, but you don't need I gave you the answer. They just told you it was paganism. But all right, let me move on. Okay, let's get into the slavery. Let me sit down for this one. Let me have a seat. Y'all see what's up there? Y'all see that? Okay. Well, the tree is a phallus symbol. So I guess it's a phallus symbol. Yeah, so you can say they worshiping sex. Those obelisks, the Washington Monument, Christmas tree, yeah, they cut the tree down because in the winter it was still alive. Everything else was dead and the tree was green. But yeah, do a little bit more digging. All right? Look here.
2,000 years ago, the German god Wodan drove around on a white horse with 2 black raven who...
Now there go, now you're getting into your Odin and your Thors and stuff. Okay? Notice how Santa Claus kind of looked like it. Or should I say Satan Claus?
And tattled to their boss. White horse with 2 black raven who eavesdropped on people through the chimney and tattled to their boss. That sounds familiar. And throughout history, there have been traditions where people paint themselves black around New Year's to impersonate the devil or to scare the kids.
Ta-da!
And
why would you want to impersonate the devil? Okay. In order to impersonate, you have to be like. You have to act like. But okay, we'll rock with it.
Then we have St. Nicholas, who visits Dutch and Belgian households around December 5th.
Hello.
At first, he drops in alone. Well, him and his horse, of course. But in 1850, he gets a companion. That's when the storybook St. Nicholas and His Servant appears.
Notice he got a servant. Didn't they tell y'all Santa had elves? Did they tell y'all Santa had elves? Let me give you the real version. He had slaves. I'm gonna keep it white. He had slaves, okay?
In these pictures, we see our good saint accompanied for the first time by a somewhat dark-skinned employee. Not that strange, really.
Now he's an employee. An employee get paid. I can't with these heathen, boy. But okay, let's do it.
We see our good saint accompanied for the first time by a somewhat dark-skinned employee. Not that strange, really, because in those days, many distinguished people had colored servants.
Now, he said it's not strange because back in those days, many distinguished people, upper echelon, rich folk, had slaves. He said servant, but they were slaves. He flip-flopped from servant to employee and back to servant. Employees get paid.
And by hiring this minion, St. Nick can focus on his core business as a friend to all children, while his subordinate manages the old-fashioned bag and rod. At first, the black assistant is an idiot who can't...
See that? The black servant is an idiot. Y'all listen. They think they're the smartest people in the room. I just sit back and let them go ahead on. When they get too close, I let them know where to get off at.
At first, the black assistant is an idiot who can't even speak properly. But slowly, he evolves into a power beat.
Now think about this, family. Your sexy reds, these ratchet folks that they putting in front of us, making this so-called idiotic music. Come on. They portray us as idiots just because they some rich idiots. Our children want to follow their footsteps because they got money. All right. Let me wind it back and let me keep going.
But slowly, he evolves into a power beat. The sometimes somewhat distracted good saint grows dependent on his skilled management assistant. And whether or not Pete is black from all that soot or not, it just would.
They don't know if Pete is black from soot. How come ain't no soot on the white? I mean, look, they don't know. They said, look, they don't know if Pete was black. They don't know from the soot. But if you go down a so-called chimney, you go get soot everywhere, not just on your face. They are mocking black folks. Let me play it back. Somebody they don't know. I'm telling y'all, it's hard dealing with these heathens, boy.
He evolves into a power beat. The sometimes somewhat distracted good saint grows dependent on his skilled management assistant. And whether or not Pete is black from all that soot or not, it just wouldn't be the same without him.
Okay. The black man doing all the work. The black man doing all the work, and the white folks are sitting back reaping the benefits. You lazy devils, you are. They love calling us lazy. You lazy Negroes that you are. Yeah. But look here. Let me see here. Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, is Dutch racism in full display. Okay? Protesters have rallied against the Dutch blackface tradition. I said, let me look at y'all for a minute. Did not the Most High say, separate from these folks? He said, get away from them. Did he not? Whenever possible. Get away from them. If they want to be a racist devil, my personal opinion, until I see otherwise, let them be. If they want to keep their hellish holidays, let them. Why? I feel no need to go tell a racist devil that that's racist. Is that not like the Most High sending one of his angels telling Satan that he's a devil? Stop being a devil? Is that not the same thing? Or is it just, or am I reading into it? You know, I know there are certain times when you need to fight back. I understand that. But I'm done trying to convince white folks. I'm done. I'm gonna start convincing them in other methods. You understand? Yeah, I got a little bit of that in. I got a little bit of that in my notes too. I'm done trying to convince white folks. They know who they are. We the one that had our history erased. White people know who they are. I'm not the educator of white folks. Okay? You got to come out. We got to educate them on racism. They created racism. They maintain it. See, y'all ought not to never let that fly. Now, if white folks don't know nothing about racism, how is it they know by instinct to keep you out of certain jobs? If they don't understand racism, how do you understand how to keep getting all white juries? How do you understand to keep labeling all these various other ethnic groups of people white to justify stealing all the taxpayer dollars and say they are majority? If they don't understand, if they need education on racism, oh, we got to be educated on racism. I told you, I'm done. I'm done. Unless the Most High navigate me in a whole other direction, I'm done. Okay? All right, Amsterdam. This late November arrival, Santa Claus in the Netherlands held 3 weeks of holiday festivity. That goes lockstep with the Roman Saturnalia. Lockstep with Rome. Festivities. And for the 8th year running, it's also accompanied by protests against Zwarte Piet or Black Pete, Santa Claus. What I do propose when they bring their racism to you, judge it accordingly. But yeah, I'm not going. Yeah, I don't know your situation, so I can't really just say that you shouldn't protest. It do work, but I'm pretty much done telling a doggone racist devil that he's being racist. I'm gonna just do sign language. Some uppercuts and some lefts and rights, elbows. I'm gonna start using sign language when they come over here with that foolishness. Okay, actions speak louder than words, don't it? Start using sign language, but be wise. All right. Yeah, so they can see what I'm saying. I'm gonna clarify myself. All right, while Santa Claus portrayed as an elderly white man arrives by ship. So their ship comes in by this time of year. And who all was on them ships? Huh? Who's on them ships? All right. And rides a white horse through parades across the Netherlands. Y'all see, this is a brilliant protest right here. While they out there celebrating their Christmas, y'all just stay home. While they having Christmas turkey, y'all, I used to, before I left my other job, I walked out when they tried to make me wear a doggone mask for 9 hours. I worked fast paced. And then when I quit, I realized I was doing 2 people's job. I walked out, they come out with that doggone rule, and it was 10 minutes later, I was out the door. Come out you, I had it on, but I had my nose where I could breathe. And they talking about cover, I left. And been doing better ever since. Okay? But yeah. And rides a white horse through the parades across the Netherlands. Hundreds of adults and children dress up as his helper. Look, they dress up like a slave. Slave play. Slave play. White folks want to be slaves so bad. Let me help y'all. Y'all want to dress up like slaves so bad, don't you? Let me help y'all. Y'all gonna get y'all shot. If not y'all, y'all's children. If not y'all, y'all's children. Yeah, y'all gonna get y'all shot. Don't worry about it. Y'all gonna get a chance to come off the bench and put in some work. Since y'all wanna portray yourselves as slaves so bad. Here you go. Let me read the chapter. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. This boy, we begging for some mercy. Please, Most High. We ready for some mercy. He gonna have mercy on the nation of Israel. Y'all know Jacob is dead. This is Isaiah, so he's talking about the nation of Israel. And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined. The strangers gonna be joined. How come the people that say they Israel, they can't get along with nobody else around in that region? How come the strangers ain't clicking and clacking? They ain't getting along if they be the people. Let me keep going. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people, the nation of Israel, shall take them and bring them to their place. Y'all always talking about trying to put a Negro in our place. Y'all always talking about putting Negroes in their place. What's a Negro place? Poverty. Family. In one of everything. What's a Negro place? Somewhere we're in jail. Dead. That's a Negro place at the end of a road. But y'all ain't gonna get nothing. Y'all, but let me keep reading. Y'all got some coming down as though. He said, take them and put them in their place. Okay? And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of your house. Here y'all go. For servants and handmaids. Y'all gonna get y'all chance. Y'all gonna get y'all chance to put in some work. Y'all want to dress up like us and beat us so bad? Y'all gonna get y'all chance. Just be patient. It's coming. Greater days are coming. Y'all just be patient. Y'all gonna get chance. Hey, everybody in the chat, tell them they gonna get their chance. Tell them they gonna get their chance to work. Y'all in the chat, tell them they gonna get their chance. Just tell them. They put it in the chat for me. Help me out. Tell them they gonna get their chance. Tell them they got next. And they shall take them captive. Okay, now. If the people in the land now are the real Israelites, number one, why ain't the people getting along with them? Okay. Number two, okay, who is their servants and handmaids? And number three, when did they go into captivity? That's strike three. They out. Strike three. They out. Or how should I say? But yeah, they out. This is safe in baseball, but y'all out. And they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay, who their oppressors? Their chance is on the way. Now, y'all gonna get y'all chance. Don't worry about it. Y'all gonna get y'all chance. Y'all begging and clamoring to be like black folks. Y'all gonna get y'all chance. You ain't got to believe it. The Bible been right so far. You ain't got to. I don't care if you don't believe it. They just make it hard on yourself. But all right. And they shall take them captive, who captive they were. They gonna get their chance. Don't worry about it. That's why I'm done trying to convince Satan that he's a devil. They got next. All right, let me move on. Let me see here. I'm getting close. All right, oh boy, I didn't hit the hour mark. Boy, I guess I'm long-winded. All right, let me see here. All right, but y'all see, they got to do it. All right, but he was a slave. How? But y'all know what it is. Y'all know how when they go to word and stuff, they gonna lie to the lad. All right, now look here. Wearing black face, painted large red lips, black curly wigs, and some large gold earrings. Okay? Now look here. They gonna get that smoke. Hey, Black Pete didn't want that smoke going down that chimney. He had to get it anyway. They gonna get that smoke whether they want it or not. They gonna get that smoke. It don't matter. Hey, I don't want this smoke. But our people insist that we get some of this smoke. Our people insisted we get some of this smoke by rebelling and kicking against the Most High. Yeah, they said they insisted that we got some of this smoke. And they act like they want some smoke. You know, yeah. All right. All right, now let me read this. Let me show y'all how hell bent these races are. This year, Santa Claus arrived on November 17th. I know this is probably old. Let me see when this was. Ain't got no date. Let me press this. I don't see no date. But anyway, 2018. Okay. All right, now. Was greeted by protests against Black Pete in 18 cities across the Netherlands. Around 40 people were arrested, primarily counter-protesting, supporting Zwarte Piet, who attacked anti-racist demonstrators. Look, with eggs and bananas. Y'all know bananas, they talking about that monkey food. But whatever, I'm gonna eat me some bananas and eggs or whatever. And in some places, Hitler salute. That's the Roman salute, y'all. Right back to Rome and Saturnalia, and they pagan gods around this time of year. The Roman salute. They call it the Nazi salute. It's the Roman salute. All right. In Eindhoven and Rotterdam, the counter protests in support of Black Pete, in particular, were particularly intense, with reports that extreme right-wing supporters had dressed up as Zwarte Piet and handed out candy and right-wing political stickers to children. That's all right. Let me move on. All right. But that last article just pretty much doesn't prove this. The Dutch don't think it's racist for Santa to have black slaves. But just come on out and say it. I like when you're honest. Come on out and say it. We already know anyway, because you're supporting it. You fighting to keep it going. We already know, but you might as well say, because we already know. You're not fooling us. They don't think it's racist for Santa to have black slaves. And y'all wonder why they going into captivity. Let me go in. Hold on. Y'all wonder why they going into captivity. Some of y'all Negroes are wondering, what about white folks? They ain't worried about themselves. So why are you worried about white people? You better be worried about your own soul salvation. All right? Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go. This is the end of the book, y'all. Shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword, who loves to kill, find themselves not guilty in a Roman judicial system. Must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Huh? They lead into captivity, they promote it. You're supporting racism. That's captivity. Let me see. Where was I at? Let me see here. Let me close some of these tabs. All right. You supporting this stuff, you're leading into captivity. Oh, yeah. And you're going. Yeah. You're supporting it. You're supporting lies. Now, yeah. Notice what he looked like, y'all. He looked like a pope, don't he? He dressed like the pope, don't he? Well, let's get over here on the pope then. Let's get on the pope then. The paper bull's discovery for slavery. Here go your the Pope. Let me see. Let me go somewhere else. I should have picked one. Oh, y'all can't see it. No way. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me close these tabs, family. I'm getting all kind of pop-ups. Y'all bear with me. But y'all know this look like something I can use. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, this will work. All right. Pope Nicholas V issued a papal bull, Dum Diversas, which authorized Alfonso V of Portugal to reduce any Saracens, Muslims, and pagans. Now, ain't this something, y'all? Y'all see the fallacy in that? You got pagans dictating what's paganism. In other words, if you ain't rocking with our God, you ain't rocking with our laws, if you ain't rolling with what we say, you're a pagan. Okay? All right? And any other unbelievers to perpetual slavery. This facilitated the Portuguese slave. This facilitated the transatlantic world war. What do you want to call it? That's warfare. It ain't no trade. For us to continue to say the word trade is to accept that we are mere objects to be traded. This is an object. You buy and trade. Are you for sale? Okay. But yeah, let's get back over here to this poop. Let me see here. Right here. Now, there go your Pope. And we walked it all the way back to Rome. We talking about this Christmas, all the way back to Rome. We done walked Santa had slaves. We done walked it all the way back. Okay? Every year around this time, people in the Netherlands paint themselves in blackface. Y'all gonna get y'all shot. Okay, just keep doing what you do. And go around pretending to be Santa's African slave. All right? According to the polls, 92% of Dutch people think it's just fine. That's good. That's great. When y'all get over here to Revelation and in the book of Isaiah, when y'all going into captivity, it's going to be just fine. As long as you do what the Most High said, it's going to be just fine. Okay? It's fine now. It's going to be fine later. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. All right? Santa Claus by steamship to deliver pre-Christmas presents to good children and carry away bad ones. All right? Every November for the past 150 years, blackface, Zwarte Piet impersonators, they had the real ones. All right? But yeah, that's why there y'all go. There you go. Let me wrap this. Let me wind this down. That's just something else y'all can look at. Ain't something else. Yeah. Now, according to the caveman logic, you got to be a caveman to think demoting people down to animals. You got to be a caveman. You got to be a savage. You think that's okay? If you ain't a cave woman or a cave beast, then I'm not talking to you. But according to the thinking of the caveman, the prehistoric thinking of the savage, Black Pete is black because of the soot from the chimney. But I don't see no soot nowhere else. I don't see no soot right here, no soot right there, none of that. He ain't even got soot on the white part of his beard. I don't see no soot nowhere else. But according to the lie and the logic of the cave thinking, the Neanderthal, they're not mocking black folks. It's just the soot from the chimney, that the African slaves went down. That's all that is. I told y'all, I'm done trying to convince heathens that they're heathens, man. If they say they ain't no heathen, then they ought to know. Okay, you ain't no heathen. Well, we'll see. Let's get into this. Let's get into this right here. I almost forgot about this. Let me wrap this up.
The Netherlands. a wealthy nation, densely populated and well known for its social tolerance. It is the European part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which consists of the Netherlands Antilles, and Aruba in the Caribbean. But what is it that made the Netherlands one of the 10 richest nations in the world? Where did all that wealth come from? What is the origin of the Dutch royal family's fortune of an estimated $8 billion? Enter the Golden Age. The Dutch history books speak fondly about the era of great prosperity that spanned the 17th century. By 1750, the Netherlands was the foremost commercial and maritime power of Europe, turning Amsterdam from an insignificant fisherman town into the financial center of the world. It also represents the golden age of Dutch art, with painters like Rembrandt and Vermeer. Dominating the world trade, the Dutch established a great colonial empire and operated the largest fleet of merchants of all West.
Okay, the largest fleet of merchants. I just learned this today. You understand? See, when you go to dig and you find, you're going to always find something. You're going to always find something that you didn't know. All right? Now, let me go back to the Bible. Let me go back to the Bible. I got to bring it home. I got to bring it home. Luke 21:24. How about that? You'll always find something you know. Don't forget them Arabs. I feel nothing. I feel nothing for my enemy. Feel nothing. We ain't done nothing to these folks. Why I got to feel something for them? Huh? We ain't done nothing. They are unrepentant. They're still on the same trajectory that they've been on for thousands of years, destroying us, undermining us, hating us. So why is it expected by them that I'm supposed to have some pity when they starting to reap what they've sown? Huh? Y'all crazy if y'all, hey, let me keep going. Let me see here. Okay. Y'all see this in red, the Messiah. Okay. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written in the Bible may be fulfilled. Woe unto them with child and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. See, they think because we've been in this predicament that they better off than us. Okay, they might be to some extent. And you know, if they get grafted in and they obey the word, you know, cool. But anyway, 21. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. It's so many of the biblical Israelites that the Most High can scatter us worldwide and kill off millions of us. And there still be plenty of us. Y'all white folks know y'all can't do that. Look at the science. Look at the brilliance of the Most High. Our genetics can survive rapes. It's so many of us. The Most High can kill millions of us. Look at Leopold. Look at millions that died crossing the ocean. Millions that died in slavery, period. And there's plenty of us. They shall fall vengeance. They shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led captive into all nations. And this is just one country. This is just the Netherlands. This is just the Netherlands. Don't wait till the rest of the Europeans. Don't forget the Arabs. The Arabs. Don't forget the Muslims. Don't forget. I want y'all to see the Bible is real. All right? Now, shall it be led captive in all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. That's who over there now. They over there fighting amongst themselves. Okay? It's right on time. They always fight amongst themselves. What y'all think the world war was about? That's white on white crime. They love to put them labels on us. I'm gonna put them back on them. All right, now rewind back a little bit.
Vermeer. Dominating the world trade, the Dutch established a great colonial empire and operated the largest fleet of merchants of all Western nations. Under supervision of the Dutch East India Company, huge profits returned from the East Indies. The Dutch soon governed their territories in order to maintain the trade. Less prominent in the Dutch history books is the story about the West India Company, the government-incorporated trading organization that would share the world trade with its East India counterpart. It is a dark chapter in the Dutch history, a story about how the Dutch enriched themselves through transatlantic slave trade, piracy, and smuggling. The West India Company was founded in 1621 and was given authority to conduct business and military action in West Africa and the Americas.
Where did they get the authority from? Where did they get their authority from? Did I close it out? They got their authority from the Pope. That's where they got their authority from. There it is, which authorized Alfonso V of Portugal to put unbelievers in perpetual slavery. Now, the pagans gets to dictate who the pagans are. That's just hilarious to me. All right.
Initially trading tobacco, sugar, and gold, the Dutch soon excelled in the trading of African slaves. Although the West India Company formally did not engage in slave trading prior to 1630, in 1619, American colonist John Smith recorded, "About the last of August came a Dutchman that sold us 20 neggers." The ships of the West India Company sailed a route that became known as the Triangle Voyage. This journey started in one of the many Dutch harbors and took the ships to the Dutch forts on the African Gold Coast. Slaves were bought or traded, and as many as 700 African slaves were loaded as merchandise in each ship and were referred to as heads, as in heads of cattle. From Africa, the ships would cross the Atlantic, sailing towards the island of Curacao, the Dutch colony that had grown into the biggest slave depot in the Caribbean by the 1650s. The hard conditions on board, poor nutrition, and disease caused a 20% death rate among the enslaved Africans. In the reported tragedy of 1738, the Dutch slave ship Loosden sinks in front of the Suriname coast. As the crew heads for the lifeboats, 702 of the 716 slaves aboard drown, locked into the deck below. For those
700 drowned.
Ship Loosden sinks.
These be the days of vengeance on this people. They shall fall by the edge of the sword. That means they're going to be dying left, right, front, and center, every which way imaginable.
In front of the Suriname coast. As the crew heads for the lifeboats, 702 of the 716 slaves aboard drown, locked into the deck below. For those who made it, their future didn't seem a lot better. The weaker slaves were usually auctioned off early. The prime slaves were sold individually to the highest bidder, separated from their families. They were sold for about $100 per person, and merchants would ship them to the plantations in Suriname, Brazil, and other colonies, facing a life of endless, forced hard labor. After the ships were loaded with sugar, gold, or tobacco, they returned to the Netherlands, making the triangular voyage complete. Although the Dutch history books repeatedly tell us the profits from slave trading were minimal, eventually many ships returned without cargo. The profits were so high, the merchants didn't even bother to reload their ships at all. After the monopoly of the West India Company on the transatlantic trade had ended, the Middelburg Commercial Company and the WIC caused the Dutch to dominate the transatlantic slave trade from 1750 to 1775. In this period, the Netherlands became the #1 supplier of slaves to Spanish colonies in the Americas. The Dutch slave trade, piracy, and smuggling enriched the reigning Dutch royal family. In the early 17th century, Prince Frederick Hendrik orders the construction of many palaces and builds up an astonishing art collection. Formally, Prince Willem V was the last member of the Dutch royalty.
I was just thinking about something. White folks actually think that black folks don't know how to farm. We was doing all the farming. They actually think we don't know how to do construction work. We was doing all the building. These folks, boy, I tell you, something ain't right.
Who profited substantially from the slave trade up to the early 19th century. In 1814, the Kingdom of the Netherlands officially ends its participation in the Atlantic slave trade, partially because of the declining profits. But slavery in the colonies is not abolished until 1863, being the last nation in Europe to end slavery. Even up until 1873,
they talking about slavery ain't profitable. Y'all believe that lie? Yeah, that's why you have to know what's going on to see through the lies. The lie that they said, they were beginning to ease slavery because it's unprofitable. But you got a school to prison pipeline right now because slavery is profitable. Okay, soon as they wrote down they are so-called abolished slavery in the United States, they started writing laws to put us in prison to continue the slavery, but it became unprofitable. See, all that old double talk, that old fork-tongued snake.
Slave trade, partially because of the declining profits. But slavery in the colonies is not abolished until 1863, being the last nation in Europe to end slavery. Even up until 1873, the freed slaves are under government supervision, forced to work on the same plantations for a salary.
They eliminated slavery, but the slaves are still forced to work. But slavery unprofitable. Boy, these fork-tongued devil, boy, hey, I told, I used to have a saying, if their lips is moving, look for the lies. If they talking, look for the lies.
Even up until 1873, the freed slaves are under government supervision, forced to work on the same plantation.
Okay, forced supervision. Okay, this is the Netherlands. Look over here in the United States. Convict leasing, forced supervision, slavery by the government. It's still going on today. Okay, let me wind it back a little bit.
In 1814, the Kingdom of the Netherlands officially ends its participation in the Atlantic slave trade, partially because of the declining profits. But slavery in the colonies is not abolished until 1863, being the last nation in Europe to end slavery. Even up until 1873, the freed slaves are under government supervision, forced to work on the same plantations for a salary to avoid the collapse of the Dutch sugar industry.
Notice they didn't say what their salary was. Their salary could have been a pair of pants. They didn't say what their salary was. I think I done proved my point. I ain't got to necessarily share all this. They didn't say what their salary was. It could have been a doggone one meal a day. You can't go home when you get ready. You got to work when they say you got to work. What makes you think they're going to be benevolent in paying you right? They don't pay you right now. Stuff going up, and the pay ain't going up with it. Now I was just right here. Harriet Tubman, a lot of our folks used to escape on Christmas. Okay? But I'm for a lack of time, I'm gonna just y'all look into it. Harriet Tubman, see, is this Harriet Tubman? Right here. I'll read some of Harriet Tubman, great warrior sister. All right, Harriet Tubman helped her brothers escape at Christmas. She saw the devils. All right, Their master is intended to sell them after Christmas. What I tell y'all, right after you get through smoking and drinking with master, he gonna sell your children off like it ain't nothing. Like you a doggone chicken or something. He gonna reach up in there. You know how you reach up in that hen house and you can move the hen out the way and just take what you want? There you go. Harriet Tubman helped her brothers escape at Christmas. Their master intended to sell them after Christmas, but was delayed by the holiday. Everything shut down. It worked in our favor that time. The brothers was expected to spend the day with their elderly mother, but met with Tubman in secret. Ain't that something? Harriet had more navigation or more motivation than our own brothers. Maybe they was younger, I don't know. But I am a strong, that's why I like to read the whole Bible. We got women warriors. Yeah, like Judith. Women warriors. Okay? Yeah. But yeah. But then again, these folks, they always promote the woman over the man, so they would leave out the man anyway, because they don't want males like myself getting any ideas how to bring the fight to the heathen. So they would hide a Nat Turner. But yeah, what I'm getting at, our men in our own nation is quick to dismiss a woman. I'm not, I'm saying within biblical text. Okay? I'm not saying out of order. I'm saying what about the book of Judith? She killed one man and ended the war. She cut Holofernes' head off and saved her nation. They were finna surrender. The men were finna surrender, but the woman said, wait. Y'all read the book of, let me see if it's in the Apocrypha. But Judah said, wait. The men were finna surrender. Y'all read that. Hold on. Yeah, here it is right here. In the Apocrypha. Y'all read that. The book that they took out the Bible. Yeah, y'all read that. Right there. Let me see here. I can't look at. Got pop up. Barak would not go to war without Deborah. Okay, hey, you got a Bible verse? I believe you, but you got a Bible verse? You got a Bible verse. You know, our people is like, you have to show us, especially us men folk. You got a Bible verse. I believe you. But yeah, let me go back over here. All of them they got their hands in the cookie jar. All right, let me see. What was I at? Okay, Harriet Tubman. Okay, let me get back over here. Sometimes the men is too wicked. The brothers were expected to spend the day with their elderly mother, but met Tubman in secret. She helped them travel north, gaining a head start on the master, who did not discover their disappearance until the end of the holidays. Likewise, William and Ellen Craft escaped together at Christmas time. Okay? So our ancestors were trying to get away from the heathen. Now we all snuggle up, chummy with the heathen. Some of us, it's going to take these songs on literally going door to door, killing us before we wake up, and it'll probably be too late. All right. They took advantage of passes that were clearly meant for temporary use. Ellen took the advantage of passes that were, okay. Ellen obtained a pass from her mistress, I think, allowing her to be away for a few days. The cabinet maker with whom I worked gave me a similar paper. But anyway, Harriet helped her brothers escape. A lot of our people was getting away because the Europeans were busy celebrating. They were gone partying. They were celebrating their holiday, and a lot of our folks took advantage. But yeah, here's something else you can read. I'm finna wrap this up. Yeah, I'm an hour 30 minutes. Judges 4, 7, and 8. There you have it. I knew you knew. I knew you knew. If you put that other one in the chat, I knew you knew. That's why I said put the Bible verse about. All right. This is Harriet Tubman too. See. Christmas Eve, 1854, at just 32 years old, runaway slave Harriet Tubman, brave, captive, torture, and death. Boy, you got some men can't go through this. I'm just gonna call it. That's the whole point of encouraging our women to raise single family household. That's the point. The male gonna pick up more characteristics of the female. Okay, that's the point. All right. Brave captive, torture, and death to return to her home in Maryland to rescue three of her brothers, Ben, Harry, and Robert, from slavery. The brothers had attempted to escape with Harriet in the past, but unable to bear leaving their wives and children, they turned back to face their punishment. So they took your wives and children with you, or you should have thought it all the way through. That's what they should have done. Think it all the way through. You gonna leave, but you gonna change your mind because you didn't get your wife and kids. That's poor thinking on their behalf. But nevertheless, I don't understand the ramifications of the situation. But if you didn't have a plan, a contingency plan with your wife and kids, now 5 years later, Harriet got news that the brother were to be sold to new owners immediately after the holidays. They would have been torn from their family, separated forever, and still slaves. But there it is again, y'all. Okay. I'll put this in the chat for y'all. I'll put it in the chat. Let me put it in here. Let me go to this other channel over here. Making my rounds. Let me see here. Put it in the chat. Let me go to, okay. I put it up there in case somebody, if they take a picture, type it in. It should take you to the same spot. Let me see. Let me try the link out. Y'all, we're going to learn today. There it is. So the link worked. All right. Y'all, I ain't got to go over it, separating families. Yeah, they giving you a few crumbs that you done already work for. They giving you a few crumbs. They give you getting some new clothes that you done already work for. And they still owe you. But yeah, there's some more stuff. It ain't no gift when you done worked all year for free and they give you some regular pants. That ain't no gift. I get my old dirty pants. There's something else y'all can type in. Owners, officers, and gave their enslaved workers things they withheld throughout the year. Look, they should have been giving it to them the whole time, like shoes, clothing, and money. According to Texas historian, another Bible verse, you shall be in want of everything. That's Deuteronomy 28:48. Deuteronomy 28:48. I'm just showing y'all us in the Bible. And nobody else fit this. Nobody else. We got the monopoly on these prophecies right here. Nobody else fit these. Therefore, thou shalt serve thy enemies. Do y'all feel like these folks, y'all feel like they're your friends? Huh? Do you feel like wherever you are in the diaspora, do you feel like these white folks is your friends? Huh? You feel like these white folks sympathizing in raccoons, are they your friends? Huh? You shall serve your enemies, which Yahweh shall send. Who sent them? Who sent them? The Most High sent them. Why did he send them? Because we broke a promise. We broke the covenant. We didn't do what we promised we was going to do. So he had to whip us into shape. he shall sin against thee in hunger. Let me help y'all see. Let me show. Look here. Deuteronomy 28:43. Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemy, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee. You don't know who you are, where you come from, you don't know your history, you don't know your name, you don't know your customs, you don't know nothing about family, you don't know nothing about nothing. Destroy. But let me see here. Let me see here. All right, let me check. Okay, right here. Now, slaves given as Christmas gift, but the owners often gave their workers things they withheld throughout the year. You shall be in want and in need of everything: hunger, thirst. There it is, right there. Okay, I could have went over here to the other one, but I'm trying to shorten this video. And here go your Netherlands. Y'all wondering why the white folks in South Africa so racist? I just gave you the breakdown of the get down of the family tree. These are OG white supremacists. These Europeans from Europe, OG white supremacists. From Rome, Italy. OG. Hardcore. Okay? All right. That's it. All right, family, I'm finna end this. Okay? Shalom, family. We love our enemy's way of life way too much. When they destroyed us, they started teaching us. See, look at, I'm not making an excuse, I'm trying to understand it. I kind of look at it like this. You raise a black bear as if it's a polar bear. The black bear ain't gonna know no difference until they learn what black bears do and where they from. The black bear ain't gonna know no difference. If you raise a black bear as if it was a polar bear. I'm not making up no excuses though. The Bible said we will be without excuse. But I'm just I'm just showing you how they got us. See, you erase and eliminate their history. Or you rewrite their history as if it's your history. And then you convince them that you are an American. You are a Brit. You are British. You are from the Netherlands. You are Dutch. You are French. The whole time they whipping our tail with a darn whip. And we can't figure out what's going on. You mean to tell me I'm not American? Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Hosea 4 and 6. Let me get on over here. Hosea 4 and 6. Hosea. Let me see here. Joshua Judges. Okay, let me share my screen. Hold on. Brainwashed, Stockholm syndrome, hard head, soft behind. Yep. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That's why they want to hide the history. They want to make it illegal to learn the truth. Because we'll stay destroyed then. Look, the Most High say he's going to put a yoke of iron on our necks until we are destroyed. Deuteronomy 28:48. Till we are destroyed. Look, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou have rejected knowledge. You try to tell some of our folks, they like, I have also rejected thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yah, I will also forget thy children. My children didn't forget the law. My forefathers did. What the Most High say? What the Most High say? the sins of the parents visits the children. I'm gonna give you a crash course lesson. Adam, we wasn't there in the Garden of Eden when Adam disobeyed the Most High. But because Adam disobeyed the Most High, we all died. We wasn't there. But y'all, for somehow, these Europeans think because they are not their ancestors, they gonna escape. No, you. Only thing I can say, you better repent and you better bring forth fruits of righteousness and evidence that you done repented. And you still might suffer. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Y'all think y'all above suffering, huh? y'all think y'all above suffering, huh? Okay, well, what's that hair stand up on the back of your neck as these wars increase? What's that uneasy feeling that you're feeling as the economy starts to collapse? What is that? What's that when the weather going haywire? If you think you are above judgment, you think you above reproach and suffering. What is that feeling? Huh? With the wars and the rumors of war. What is that then? All right, family. Shalom, family. Y'all scan that. Y'all scan. Let me see here. Y'all scan. Learn to scan this. Play with this. Y'all try to scan that. It's going to take you to this link. I'm going to have to start doing it like this. It's going to take you to this link. Let me see here. It's going to take you right here. And these two, I want y'all to get y'all some Rumble accounts. Okay? Let me see here. Okay, yeah. Oh, y'all can't see that. Hold on. Let me do this. All right, it's gonna take you right here. Y'all scan that. It's one up in the corner. Okay. If that don't work, I put these links. I'll be putting this link right here. It be in the description box in the comment section. It's the same thing. So just trying to get y'all to get used to moving on over. All right. Let me see here. But anyway, salute y'all. Y'all take care. Glad y'all can make it. Shalom, family.